The season started, how keen he was to make the most of the opening 6 rounds when he had the whole squad together before Europe, before they lost a bunch of this lot to the autumn internationals. And they know that if they win this, they will be top after the opening half dozen. It's been a lighter training week for them, what with England's players away, but the sessions we hear on Thursday and Friday had an extra bite to them, an extra edge there. For the first time this season, they've been saying they know who's in town today. As does everybody inside Allianz Park. It's a sellout, not a seat to be had, not an inch of standing room to be had. They've crammed as many in here as they can, all looking forward to seeing what we hope will be the best match of the season so far. Certainly is on billing.
I think it's going to be fascinating, Nick, as this game develops, to see how Wasps approach it. We expect all-out attack. It's what we've seen in the first 5 rounds, but I would be surprised if they don't temper that a little bit, especially in their own third. We know that almost all of their tries so far originated in their own half, and I don't expect to see them stop playing in their own half, but there is no team more adept at shutting down intricate attacking play than Saracens. Just see the final a couple of seasons ago with Bath, tore it up all season and absolutely shut them down. So it's just, I just wonder how much respect Wasps will have paid during the week to Saracens' defensive systems. Fascinating.
It really is. And wherever you look, there are just delicious head-to-heads. Vunipola against Moore's one of them. We've seen Lazowski and Cipriani picked out over the last few seconds. And the best 2 teams in England so far this season, Saracens against Wasps, are underway. And that is a forceful early surge from Nathan Hughes.
In big matches, you certainly want to get your hands on the ball early, and they've kicked Wasps' biggest player, bumping off Marcelo Bosch, getting himself fully into this game.
Sean Maitland, first job in his new role as Saracens fullback is to lose the ball. Danny Cipriani looking for some space, some green plastic, and he does it very well.
That's a brilliant kick off the right boot, made it really, really hard in the air for Maitland, did Wasps. Bassett was doing his best to get there, but those Saracens shadow defenders made it too hard for him. Cipriani, mature, accurate, punchy kick. Lovely way to start the game after that Hughes carry.
After the Sean Maitland knock-on.
Yeah, that's fine.
Introduced himself on the wing so far for his new club. This is his first start at fullback. First catch for Maro Atoje.
It was taken in, Richard.
Wigglesworth was told that the ball was taken in from outside the 22, so he was careful not to kick it out on the full, and it was well gathered by Christian Wade for Dan Robson to use. Kiernan Mile underneath the orange headgear. Gopeth. And he's been hit hard by Lazowski.
Stay, touch,
now
onside.
Daly tries to do a Cipriani off the left boot. Instead finds Wiles.
George.
The quality of the kicking, the quality of the chasing, the quality of the recovery will be so important over the next 80 minutes. Alex Lazowski with the big early hit. Talking to him this week about how teams often see the 10 as the weak link defensively. He wears it as a badge of honour, Hugo. He doesn't want to just make the tackle. He wants to drive his opposite number backwards.
Yeah, well, you look at the great fly halves that England have produced. Johnny Wilkinson, he looks at defence as a way of actually attacking people. People always want to go down that 10 channel. Lazowski has stepped up to every challenge.
Line out over.
Once again, first choice at the line out is Atoje. It's driven on by Barrett. And Berger slips it around the back for Wiles again, who again puts boot to ball, and this might work for Brits. First time they've been this close. Looking more than handy. It's been stolen, but it was a rock, and Nathan Hughes wasn't allowed therefore to pick it up. Sarri's penalty.
Really, really clever play from Sarries. Firstly off the line out, love the way they use Vunipola as that first ball receiver, but instead of doing what everyone expects and trucking it in, He ships it on, then they come straight back to the blind side. Early on, they're keeping Wasps guessing. That's just pure luck.
Just 1
but
metre,
you'll take that.
Just 1 metre.
And this is a silly error from Nathan Hughes, a sort of error that hurts Di Young, but also Eddie Jones won't enjoy that. Right in front of the ref, got to be cleaner than clean near your line.
Some serious defensive work to do for Wasps very early on off the murderous driving ball from the line out, and Saracens have taken full advantage. And it looks like Mako Vunipola, who gets up, scores the try, gets the applause.
Well, mega aggressive call. It's a bit windy out there, but that's the sort of kick you'd expect Sarries to slot if they wanted to. They go for the corner, absolutely back in their drive, really confrontational. It's a non-jumper. They know, they've studied Wasps, they know Wasps are going to stay down and drive. There's no need to even get off the ground and risk it. There's no one defending it. And you just see Vunipola, he hasn't come straight to the middle there. Wasps have stopped him originally, but Saracens have rolled that effectively round the side, shifted the point of contact. When he got Cruz behind him, Mako, one of the strongest sets of legs in the game, really nicely taken. But again, that's evidence of good line-out attack preparation, good coaching from Saracens.
Did well to hold on to the ball there because it was starting to roll underneath his chest, but his arm was still in contact, and it's still in contact with his torso, just in case you're wondering as to why that was given. But nothing wrong with that. Having picked out the big hit a little bit earlier. What's the kicking like? From a tough angle, there's a little bit of breeze tickling the flags away to the right. They will have to settle for a 5-point score, but that'll do very nicely. 4.5 minutes gone. Saracens 5, Wasps 0.
Kickoffs always really interest me like this. The first thing Sarries did was kick the ball to Nathan Hughes, who smashed off Marcelo Bosch and made a couple of yards. Who are Wasps going to kick it to? Not Billy Vunipola, that's for sure.
Taken in by the try scorer. Was hit hard by Tom Cruz, the debutant hooker for Wasps today. If you're just joining us, Tommy Taylor warmed up, but then pulled out ill before kickoff.
Use it.
So the man who was due to be a replacement is now a starter, and Wigglesworth again off that left boot, clears long. Plucked out by the fullback Miller.
Tackle!
Well, Robson's had it stolen by Berger. He was on the floor. Crept through the cage to create mayhem. There goes Ashley Johnson, a blindside flanker again today, although he is covering for hooker with Taylor's late withdrawal.
Yeah.
This time,
without the ball.
as Robson waited to pick up the ball, penalty was conceded by Mike Rhodes.
Higher when you clear out. Higher when you clear out.
Hugo has been having a look at how that try was scored.
Yeah, just looking at identification of space down the blinds on Lazowski. Christian Wade is sat back, but Lazowski's pace to get him round the corner, linking up with Schaltberger, means they're able to get to edge. A little bit of a lucky ricochet there, but once they get him behind, Wasp pressure tells, give away, soft penalty, into the corner, try.
Mako Vunipola's first since he scored here against Toulouse 11 months ago. That's a long way not straight.
I tell you what, I wonder if that throw shows us that it is quite windy down there, and maybe that did affect Saracens' decision to not kick for goal and go for the corner instead in the first couple of minutes, leading to that try. But a big day for Tom Cruz, mainly because he wasn't expecting to start, also because he can't come off, because in the lists I've seen, Nick, the registered hooker on the bench, or the number 16 at least, is James Gaskell, and he ain't playing hooker, which means a prop will have to cover.
Yeah, I think, I guess they'll be allowed to throw Ashley Johnson up into that position should they need it. Yeah. As interesting as it would be to see Gaskell in the middle of the front row, maybe David Young's planning some fun and games later, we'll see.
Bind! Set! Don't go round one!
Ball securely taken initially, and then the surge comes on, and then Robson does really well to get in Billy Vunipola's hair. Backwards, so on Saracens go. Rhodes providing some cover, some lengthy cover for Wigglesworth. Rob Miller.
High. 1.
High tackle from Mako Vunipola.
A couple of soft penalties back-to-back from Saracens. Wigglesworth getting them into the right positions, but it's just been backed up with poor defence. Miller actually does really well to counter-attack. Obvious high tackle.
On the line, please,
pressure relief for Wasps.
This is Tom Cruise, going to institute a fine system, I think, over the course of the next 80 minutes for any obvious references. What I will say is that his name is shorn of the eye that the small famous one carries around with him.
More!
Arrived from London Irish this season. He's 27 now, so he's barely a spring chicken. But he's got his opportunity now with Wasps, and he's bringing it forward for Robson and Cipriani, and now Wade coming off his wing and running into Marcelo Bosch. Brits on Robson, picked up by Daly. The defence is tigerish. This is Simmons. Been impressive so far this season, filling the hole vacated by Bradley Davies. And as Thomas Young hurtled away, he'll be drawn back, as will be all, for the knock-on.
Well, it was well defended by Saracens. They didn't really look in trouble there. Was kind of playing that two-line system and pull it out the back to Christian Wade. See the breakdown here. I think Robson goes to pick it up and it flicks off a boot somewhere. Oh, it's a breakdown later, but that's a good hit from Mako Vunipola, flying out the line. Huge contact, shoulder on shoulder. Here's that ball bobbling for Robson, just knocks off his mate's boot. But I think if when the ball goes out the back to Christian Wade, he either has to be deeper or running less laterally, because never should he get the ball with that much space and it's not threatening. That was not threatening. So Wasps need to make an adjustment, I think run a bit more directly.
16 tackles already.
Set.
Making them work hard, but let's face it, Saracens look pretty comfortable making their tackles. It is their USP in the Premiership.
Billy Vunipola to Wigglesworth, who switches to the left, and Lazowski, and Barrett rumbles back over halfway. What a job he does in Saracens midfield. Surplus to England requirements these days, but very much central to what Sarries are about. Skoltberger. Bosch trying to link up with Rhodes, and then Maitland to Ellery, and in the end it all untangled.
It's been an accurate start to the game. So many quality players. But we spoke about it before the game, the amount of turnovers, unforced errors, but let's face it, when you're a top team, the one thing defences won't do is give you space, and that knock-on was just about space. Just been taken away and actually just passing on balls which really should be passed on. Maitland regathers. Ellery's just a little bit unsure. Just giving easy possession to a team that look more threatening than any other team in the Premiership.
Talked about the scrum before the match and the work of Billy Vunipola. Flats.
Billy Vunipola, number 8 on the left. He properly scrummages, gets in a great position. Nathan Hughes is doing so too, but so many number 8s don't bother. They do have a lot to think about, in fairness. Skoltberger's head's come up. The longer these scrums go, the more fatigue these front 5 forwards will get, and that's good news for the game.
That's a strong run from Bassett. Tipped ahead of Frank Halai on the left wing. 5 of the first 6 games, and then Nathan Hughes concussively, but Vunipola just picks his back pocket. And then the attempted clearance is charged down, and this is Bosch. And there's an element of Keystone Cops to what we're seeing at the moment, as entertaining as it is, and now Maitland straightens things up and goes over halfway. All this from the Billy Vunipola rip of the ball, and then Skolt Brits can't get the ball away, and he snaps the pitch in frustration. But what a passage of play.
It really was a poor end to what was a fantastic defensive set for Saracens. Nathan Hughes, their big bad ball carrier for Wasps, comes on such a hard line here. Who's marking him? Billy Vunipola takes that one personally, nicks the ball off him. What a brilliant hit and turnover. Brad Barrett, defensive captain, just not giving Nathan Hughes any room to manoeuvre. A really positive start to the game for them.
Make no mistake, that was Billy Vunipola targeting the big name for Wasps, taking him on one-on-one. That was personal.
Puffing Billy started every match so far this season. He'll have enjoyed that moment as much as any up to this point. If you've missed any moments over the weekend so far, Toulouse-Vejanu's try from another world, perhaps. Welford Road yesterday, it's all encapsulated neatly at 11 o'clock this evening. So sit down with your Oval team and re-watch it all with us. Next weekend, we're getting all continental again, although we're starting up in Glasgow, so no passports needed just yet for the visit of the Tigers. We will need them on the Saturday as we follow Saracens to the south of France and the Felix Mail. Wales, West Wales, sail Sandy Park with Clermont in town. So much to look forward to Europe-wise here on BT Sport over the next fortnight.
Just looking at the hard work of Charles Burgo, such a talisman for them. It was Jacques Berger last year leading that wolf pack, but look at him spotted. He sees Nathan Hughes, he wants to get into the game, massive hit on him, but look at his work after making the hit, desperately trying to get him on the floor. That's 4 Wasps attackers. He takes them all out on his own, slowing down that one ruck, and it's that work after the contact which is exactly why he's so priceless in the team. He is trying to irritate this Wasps line, trying to slow down out of the ball and try most definitely not to get them on the game line.
He's had such a wonderfully abrasive, effective start, not just that man of the match performance, but he scored a try on his debut against Worcester as well. I think we all knew that it was a very clever, canny signing as soon as Sarries made it, David.
He's one of those players you could argue his best rugby's behind him. He said the same, and it is, but doesn't mean there's not a load of brilliant rugby in front of him. And he's one of the few players in the world I think any club side on the planet would do their best to sign him, even as a marquee player, despite his age, despite all his body's been through. Because as Hugo says, he's just relentless, absolutely relentless. He's got skill, he's got power, but it isn't that. He's got a mindset. He's just a nose, and I say that as a compliment.
McCall frustrated by something. Simon McIntyre having taken a lengthy break for treatment. It's back in this Wasps front row. It's a Wasp scrum.
This could be the 3rd completed scrum out of 3. Could be.
Wasps driving through that ball. Saracen studs digging into this artificial surface. Hughes picks it up for Robson, and Daly was on the charge. It was meant for Cipriani, but how quick was Bosch into that tackle? It's just suffocating. We talk a lot about the anaconda, and Saracens are like one giant collective one at the moment. There's just no air for Wasps to breathe.
Do you know, lots of sides will play against Wasps, and they will hope that Wasps don't quite hit their straps and don't attack from everywhere. Saracens almost hope they do. It's almost like they relish it. So far we've seen Cipriani's had 4 or 5 pieces of quality possession. The one tactical kick in the first couple of minutes was fabulous. Every time they try to do anything else, they've been quickly shut down.
Channeled frustration of being out of England's plans right now. This is the perfect opportunity. He knows that. Against the likes of Binny Vanapola and Co. He tried the match so far, scored by his brother Mako Vanapola. So it's 5 to the good.
Another long scrum takes so much out of the forwards' legs, especially the front fivers.
5th scrum, Barron off the tail of it.
Off his own
That's
foot,
ball
off 13
that's been
foot.
spilt, and Mile got there first.
No black, let it come wide side.
It's a long way down when you're as tall as Kiernan Mile, but he did well.
Off their feet. Scrum. You play off your feet, he plays off his feet.
And it'll be a Wasp scrum.
Just as Hugo said, just continuing that theme, slightly loose from Sarries. They look almost more together when they don't have the ball than when they do at the moment. Barrett carries it in powerful. Cipriani does enough. Just Marcelo Bosch's boot. Hey, easily done. Whether you're playing under 8s at the local club or you're a pro, it does happen. But it's just concentration. It's just thinking about those things on the way in.
Had a little bit of rain pre-match. Having a little bit more now.
Bind. Set.
Cipriani. Daly chasing, Maitland gathering. Runs into Ashley Johnson, being slowed up by Cipriani. Atoje. Lazowski.
Hold. Thank you, onside.
Airborne test for Rob Miller. Brad Barrett got there first, and Wilds loses it forward as well.
Bit of a wild swipe in the air from Brad Barrett. You just feel like he's not quite there, not able to get a good attempt on that ball. Maybe wait for the chap to land and hammer him.
You go.
Looking at many different reasons why Wasps back play is not actually working in them. And if you look at the line of Elliot Daly, if you are running that lead runner, you want to be that guy. You've got to look like you're getting the ball. Look at him. He runs the line, hands down. Brad Barrett is not buying off that, which allows Marcelo Bosch to get up outside, hit Cipriani behind the gain line, because Elliot Daly doesn't even look like an option. It's the one thing when I look at Wasps back line, they've got lots of skill, lots of pace, but you do need people just to be selfless and take that ball on the line.
There's a knock on penalty. Okay, yeah, if you boys are going forward.
John Cruz just taking a bit of treatment.
Yeah, you're not an option. You're not an option if you don't have your hands up. I don't like the idea of being a decoy runner. You have to run like everyone's expecting to get the ball. That's how good back play works.
All completed scrums so far. Long scrums, very, very draining. Has to be something to do with the surface. There's such consistency, such grip.
Fine.
Doesn't make it easier to scrummage, just makes it harder to fall over. Less likely to slip.
No, yeah, ball away.
Away very quickly. Robson to Gopeth. Wasps trying to give themselves a little bit more air, a little bit more breathing space. All Maitland can do would side-foot it out of play.
That's fine.
Alex Good, by the way, took a bang to the knee against Harlequins. That's why he's
Saracens,
not with us today, the
step off to
Aviva
the mark
Premiership
and I'll get the
player of
numbers
last
here.
season. So Maitland patrolling at fullback right now.
It's a good source of possession, this. Wasps have been starved of possession. They certainly haven't done anything with it the last 5 minutes. Perfect opportunity on the halfway line to get their big ball players into the game.
Kieran Mile calling the line out to himself. Johnson rumbles in to offer some South African muscle. Runs into a little bit more in the form of Berger, Schalk Berger. Cipriani, Daly on hand to go beyond Schalk Brits, but he's been hit backwards by Rhodes. Cipriani keeps it low as George Cruz flew in. Maitland once more. Ellery will lead the charge. Miller again positioning himself underneath it. Ellery got just enough of the fullback shirt.
Brilliant chase from Mike Ellery. Backed up by all of his teammates. Be interesting now to see what Wasps do with the ball. Brad Davies spoke about it before. For me, be efficient. Get the ball out of your half. You're under too much pressure.
Cipriani goes for the contestable kick, which Maitland wins as he runs into Bassett. This is Brits. Hit hard by Simmons.
First on his feet, ripped back by 4, play on.
Mako Vanapola. Tackled by Cruz.
Entry of 3. 8 in a good position.
Penalty against Juan Fagallo. Nathan Hughes was in the decent position. Interesting, Aid the Stat has just told us in our headphones that Wasps per carry are making 2.5 metres. Every side is having to work so hard, David, to make any kind of ground at the moment.
Yeah, and what happens when a team makes that many metres per carry is that the opposition find themselves retreating, and there is something physical about having to retreat. There's something psychological that tires you. As Dar Young looks on, you're against a team that make that many yards per carry, per individual. You're constantly running back around the breakdown to get into position, and Sarries are stopping that from happening a lot.
Cipriani, Johnson beyond him. He somehow manages to smuggle it out of the back to Cruz. Thomas Young. Cipriani to Wade. It's been a while since we had to look over our left shoulder to see where the ball was. First time they've been in the 22, ball in hand. Cipriani to Hughes. Oh, he Shaw saw Billy Vunipola approaching over his bonnet. Advantage is over for the knock-on, so Jimmy Gopperth will be happy enough just to touch this down and to restart with the 22.
Yeah, Billy Vunipola once again everywhere Nathan Hughes is. He certainly wants to be there. He's almost like he's man-marking him like an old-school defender at the moment, not giving him any room to breathe. And let's face it, he's doing a terrific job.
Remember at under 10s when your dad said to you, you know, hit them hard in the first opportunity you get and they won't want to come back for more. Well, I'm sure that Nathan Hughes isn't intimidated by Billy Vunipola, but Billy is in his mind, no doubt. He's seen him coming after that first hit.
Rozovsky. It's another contestable one. Wade is one of the smallest blokes on the pitch, but he had time there.
He's not on his feet, let it go! You're off your feet, not supporting your weight. Taken in. Just wait, please, Mako.
Robson backpedaling, taking it neatly over his right shoulder. Watching it carefully, taking it quickly.
Come out.
To Wigglesworth, and Ellery will chase the kick. Miller comes round and does nicely. Oh, he does really well in a very limited amount of space to release Cruz. Oh, Ashley Johnson loses it. Maitland.
Off feet, 5! Use it!
I think it's fair to say that Wasps looked pretty rattled this opening quarter of the game, feeding off scraps. Saracens' Wolfpack mentality, their line speed is really killing them.
And again, under pressure from Brits, but well cleared by Dan Robson. Let's have a chat with David Young about how they might escape the clutches of Saracens. It's a tricky one, Di, isn't it? They're all over you at the moment, in your faces.
Yeah, they are. We knew that was coming. Obviously, accuracy hasn't helped us. We spilled a few balls, so we need to go through some phases to put them under pressure. We've tried to go out the back too many times. Obviously, they're rushing up on the outside, so we need to go through them before we can go outside them.
Did you talk about that before the match, just taking it up the guts a little bit more?
Yeah, well, it's not new how they play, Nick. You know, they're very good at it. So, you know, we've just got to keep plugging away, but obviously we need to be more accurate. If we're going to cause them problems, we need to get our ball carriers, need to get their nose to that contact area, and we need to get penetration and then see how quickly they can blitz on the way going backwards. It's very difficult to blitz going backwards, but at the minute we're not having any penetration, we're not asking enough questions.
I'd like to talk about positives if we can. What are the positives from your point of view?
Well, the positives, apart from the first 5 minutes when they got over the line, they haven't looked like scoring really. You know, as I said, they haven't played much. We know that's what to expect. If we make a mistake, they're going to kick us back downfield, really. So we just need to find a way to play, Nick, really.
Brilliant. Thanks, Dave. Penalty going against the Tojo at the line.
Obstruction.
I'd really like the comment from Di Young just about earning the right to go wide. You have to go through the guts and you've got to punch them in midfield, get over the gain line, and that's when the guys like Christian Wade, Elliot Daly, Rob Miller will really benefit and profit off that.
And it's fascinating. The last comment I like, you've got to find a way to play. So what happens is sometimes you face a team who are so defensively accurate and organised and oppressive that you have to adjust what you've always known. And we've seen Saracens overcome teams in this way before, but we talk about Wasps as title contenders, a potential European force. Let's find out how adaptable they are today.
Debutant Tom Cruise picks out Young at the front.
5 pulling out Wasps players, Saracens 5.
Saracens 5 is George Cruz.
5 pulling out players from the side.
A couple of penalties in quick succession. Cost Saracens 30 metres. George Cruz has been nursed through by the club this week. He had a busy start with England, very busy start. Had back spasms when he came back, which caused a little bit of concern, but he's fit to play today. And here's the penalty.
And have a look at Cruz in the middle. That's a nice line, he's in there, but actually what you're not allowed to do is rip players out and throw them on the floor. Bit naughty. Driving straight to the middle was effective enough.
Young again at the front. Crews 6 from 7 line out wise. He's begun confidently, and this is
He's on the ball.
Ashley Johnson. What are you pointing at, Hugo?
Schaltberger, brilliant in terms of disrupting Wasps. Just they looked like they were mounting a claim to go forward off that maul.
It was McIntyre who had it, and McIntyre who held on just a second too long.
Tell you what, there are few better prop forwards in world rugby than Juan Figallo at getting over that ball, being hard to watch. He's just like Stefan Armitage when he gets over the top. You'd imagine props would be good in that sort of position, and he is. Despite having a couple of years ago had a horrible neck injury, he's brave, he still gets his head in, and well, look at the bloke. He's too strong to move. That's really, really good defence, and you're right, Hugo, a lot of that is down to the disruption of Berger. Saracens put a big early drive on, but Wasps roll out of it nicely to the left. Ashley Johnson shouting instructions. Marrow, and Berger trying to twist them around and spin that drive around to dislodge the ball and split the Wasp players up.
Stop! Thank you.
Wade comes forward, and we got plenty of height there, but couldn't gather it into the arms of Rhodes. Goodness, the leap of Wade there. And then the hit that comes in from Mile on Berger.
Stay there, stay there, stay there. Stay still.
Back to Rhodes. The knack of finding himself in the right position at the right time at the moment. Billy Vunipola. He has moved up another level this year since the turn of the year. He'll continue that education with the likes of Schaltberger. Lazowski to Barrett, the captain.
Move it!
Again, that little gnarled bolt in midfield, just straightening things up for them, providing some solidity. Maitland, the fullback.
Brilliant. Another prop, we said it before, Marty Moore. Tell you what, if you're that strong in that low to the ground, you should be turning ball over. Once he's on it, you need a cricket bat to get him off. Strong bloke in a great position, brilliant defence all round from Wasps. Actually a huge hit from Kiernan Mile, really big hit from Nathan Hughes on Barrett. Strong stuff.
Island tighthead, only his second start for his new club, former Leinster man. Kind of a new front row today.
That's fine.
Crews and McIntyre to his left-hand side. Jake Cooper-Woolley started the last 3. He's on the bench today.
Time off.
I'm not surprised he's shaking his arm about. He's been involved, he's had some heavy involvements. He's also had some massive collisions as well, but Wasps will be thrilled to see him back on his feet and hoping he can actually cause some damage off this line-out.
Only thrown 1 to the back so far. And again, he goes to Mile pretty much in the middle. Oh, and Johnson spins away and does brilliantly. Playing at 6 again today.
Advantage 1 not rolling.
And it's a penalty conceded by Vunipola. Robson, knowing that kickable points are on the board. We're still playing the advantage with Matthew Carley.
You've got advantage. Play the ball. 1, the first offence, not moving, then 4.
That was brilliant from Ashley Johnson. He just took the ball to the line, kept it in 2 hands. Made Billy Vunipola think twice.
Let's have a listen to this.
Every time we've entered this area of the field, it's ended up with a penalty very quickly.
Okay.
Against
similar
you.
to the first move.
Listen.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you, the number of penalties is causing me a concern. Please speak to the players.
Boys.
This is where it all kind of come from. Good line-out delivery, ball into Johnson. Billy Vunipola steps in to make a big hit, and Ashley Johnson just spins out of it. Something you see in Strictly Come Dancing. Rolls over the gain line. They're on the back foot, and Saracens are forever chasing.
It's almost like Billy Vunipola nudged him into that pirouette. Used Billy's energy to roll off. Mako missed him on the inside. It's just keeping that ball in 2 hands. The Vunipola brothers weren't quite sure whether Johnson was going to throw a pass then, just kept them guessing.
Personal haul of 23 points here last winter. It was his first hit 3 here this afternoon. result, Saracens scrum.
Yeah, just the maul was going reasonably nicely for Wasps, but the sort of the front half of it just dislodged, just detached itself, decoupled itself from the back half. You see good pressure from Saracens, but Wasps roll it around. They take it around to the right. Ashley Johnson, no doubt, driving that at the back. You see Scott Britt's in the hat here. He's just able to nick past that front half because the back half didn't hang on. So the front half has to drive forward and spearhead that maul, but they have to listen to the chap from behind. They can't let themselves detach. Made it easy for Brits.
Crouch! Bind! Set!
It's the first collapse scrum, isn't it? 8th scrum. First reset we've had.
Well, if we are to complete this scrum, then this man here, lightened up, Brad Barrett, he is so key to get Saracens that gain line. And with Jimmy Gopperth and Danny Cipriani, I'm sure that is a channel every team looks to try and compete at. He's incredibly good and adept at giving them that gain line.
Crouch! Bind! Set! 3, 2, 3. And square!
One reset scrum, swiftly followed by
Came
another.
out the tunnle.
Spoke too soon, didn't we?
Job that Hugo's talking about in terms of Brad Barrett is a solid one at the moment. Mustn't forget this Saracens midfield filleted of so many players. Alex good at fullback, Farrell wherever they choose to play him, and Duncan Taylor as well, Scotland international. We're hearing that he's had an ankle operation and in all probability will miss the autumn international, so he's gone for a while. They're having to make do and mend a little bit in midfield, which is why he's so important right
That's
now.
right, yeah. He's always there. He's their mainstay for the last couple of years. But I have to say, Saracens are well adept at getting their players rotating into the team. So although there's lots of movement, they should cope with it just fine.
Solid scrum, more than solid scrum. Wasps on the back foot for the first time, and they draw the penalty.
All about Juan Figallo on the tight head. Really, really powerful stuff. That's why you can see Simon McIntyre not happy. I actually thought on the last scrum that went down, Figallo was a bit too aggressive. I thought, why does he want that side of the scrum up? They don't want to attack right. Here he goes on the near side. That's just power. He's quite high. There's a bit of an angle going on, nothing illegal. That is raw power. The positioning isn't fantastic, but he's a very, very big, very strong man. And that was more about attitude. That's why he's wanting to go forward to buy a penalty.
It's the kind of scrum that suggests his teammates might have said before the match, you know that Vincent Cox on the way here next week, don't you? He's finished his work with the Springboks and he'll be a Saracens player fairly shortly. That was a statement of intent.
Absolutely, and McIntyre's been in really good form this season. Then they picked Marty Moore ahead of Jake Cooper-Woolley, and Marty Moore is known to be a scrummager first. So it's almost a statement. When Saracens see that Wasps team release, they will think, right, they picked the scrummaging pack here, they picked the scrummaging front row. All right, they've lost Tommy Taylor, but that's who they selected originally. That's a challenge. That team release is a challenge.
It's been a very good start to Alex Lazowski's Saracens career. He's already moved beyond 60 points in a new shirt. Wasps find themselves 5 points behind again. 8-3 into the final 10 minutes of the first half.
Elliot, timing on that chase your kickoff, okay?
See, again, I mentioned that kickoffs interest me. I don't quite know what Wasps were looking to achieve from that kickoff. It's so long. Elliot Daly was about 3 or 4 metres offside, and he's that quick, and he still couldn't make it to Bosch. Bosch clears it. Wasps are minus 8 yards. Don't quite get what they were looking to achieve with that.
Tojinko trying to work out where this ball's going. It's disguised well enough for Simmons to have time to nab it.
And use it.
Robson, section on the bench today, taken by Wiles. Not so much of Wiles in an attacking sense over recent few minutes, but Vunipola trying to put the hosts on the front foot. Wigglesworth again, no messing around, put the pressure back on Wasps inside their own half. And invite the likes of Rob Miller to do what they can try and do, but maybe commit the error as well. Cipriani moves his way around defenders and picks out Maitland.
Really, really nice from Maitland. Just dropped that in. Looked like it almost came off the outside of the boot deliberately. Lovely piece of skill. You saw Marcelo Bosch fly up at 13 and force the kick from Cipriani. Perhaps it wasn't the option he thought he was going to take. Just good pressure from that Sarries defence. Lovely, lovely.
Inside.
Deft bit of skill from Maitland.
Inside.
Festuccia headed back to Italy at the end of last season. Ed Shervington retired. So the likes of new boy Tom Cruise getting their chance today, and Kiernan Mile was dragged down. That's a penalty. And he's not happy.
And do you know what? You don't want to see handbags or fights or anything like that. It's all getting a bit silly. But you can see why he would be angry. It's dangerous. He's a few feet up in the air. He's a massive unit.
Yeah, I agree, Flas. I'm not advocating people reacting and throwing punches or whatnot or pushing each other, but when you get lifted that high in the air, the one thing you're worried about is your safety. There isn't much in it, to be fair.
Hey, hang on.
Speak to both of them. Yeah. So I don't think there's anything more. No, I agree. 5. 5. And 5, please.
Cruise and Mile.
I've got a penalty at the line out, and neither are you helping the situation after the whistle's gone. Okay, you know what you did, and then you put your hand in the player's face. Okay, please just think about how you behave after the whistle. The original penalty will stand. Okay. Cross the line.
Handbags afterwards, post-event handbags notwithstanding.
Please don't run in.
There's not a lot in it, it looks like, but it's important. It's a no-arm body check. Arms up in the air for Maro Itoje when he's mid-air in the line out. Not me, ref, not touching him, whacking him with his 48-inch chest. He knew exactly what he was doing. You don't become a top international player, and he's only been around 5 minutes, Maro, but he's already a top international player without being streetwise. He knew what he was doing, he just took it a bit far. Dangerous play, good decision.
Again, it's Mile who went up highest. Cipriani to Johnson. Runs into Brits and ricochets off.
Move too.
Still the only try of the match so far. Mako Vunipolas early on, driving over from a line out. There's Simon McIntyre.
The yellow line's where the line out was. Wasps have gone back about 20 metres.
Well, that was nicely done by Cipriani to find Miller. And some acceleration provided by Cruz, the hooker. Cipriani again. Gopeth. He's held up and put him down carefully, and Gopeth got the ball away before they did to Yuns, and he was dragged backwards by Billy Vunipola, who thought he was held, but he was allowed to carry on. So a Wasps player down in the meantime.
Looks like Kiernan Mile from here.
Off feet.
And here's Robson. Now he's a little bit isolated, and Wasps are going to have to work hard to win this one back.
Now, let it come.
They've done enough with Hughes and Simmons and Cruz. They're lacking Kiernan Mile in this latest attacking effort. He's flat on his back, and there's some concern amongst the medics. Ashley Johnson. McIntyre had to take half a step backwards to gather that. Cipriani, oh, he's gone through, and now surely taken by Bassett. Bassett will score. Door kicked open by Cipriani. Over the threshold, Josh Bassett.
Magic, 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 Cipriani. From nothing. Wasps haven't looked like scoring a try. That's what he's got. That's why they're paying the big bucks.
How good is this from Cipriani? Going absolutely nowhere. You need a bit of magic, and that's exactly what he provides. Goose steps to the outside. Josh Bassett hogging the touch on the left, goes in for an easy try. Just a little hitch kick, gets outside Vunipola, ball in two hands. Beautiful timing of the pass to Josh Bassett. We knew this was going to be a huge test for Cipriani. He always steps up on a big occasion. That's a wonderful bit of individual flair when Wasps really look to be lacking.
3-3 for Bassett. He's justifying the decision to start him ahead of Frank Halai.
And do you know what, all those injuries with Jack Noel, Anthony Watson, you'd think that Rocco Daguni and Marlon Yard are two of the front runners for that, but Bassett, the dark horse, he's playing really, really good rugby.
Thank you.
With the conversion, but a try that draws Wasps level approaching half-time.
Oh, that's beautiful. Cipriani, unquestioned, he targets Billy Vunipola. Now, you can target Billy Vunipola all you like, and he might be a 120-kilo unit, but he can move. He's light on his feet. He's a top-class defender at international level for a number 8, and he gets skinned, all ends up. No excuses by Cipriani. He's a special player.
It's Bassett who skippered Wasps to victory in the Sing Sevens at the start of the season. Concern continues for poor old Kiernan Mile, who remains on his back. This is how it happens. Mile in the orange cap. Is that the point that he hurt himself? He's getting the best possible attention. Ali James, the head physio, just behind him. And we know that these are the kind of situations that the medics do not rush. Information being passed through to David Young. Joe Launchbury has been stripped off and ready to join us for a while. They're making absolutely sure that they're safe to move Kiernan Mile for the time being. Hope you've been enjoying rugby tonight so far this season. Great insight and analysis as usual in our studios in Stratford. JP Doyle was in alongside Danny Kerr last week. Hugo won the penalty shootout, however, so Sheffield Wednesday under 15s or whatever it was. Arsenal man still winning it. And next week, by the way, next Wednesday, we've got Jonathan and James Davis joining us. We can see why he was down for so long. He'll head off not just to get that cut repaired, but I would have thought for a head injury assessment as well. He's thrown himself against brick walls so far today, Kiernan Mile.
I love that. He's walking off. I don't love that. I hate seeing him walk off, but I love seeing the reaction of the Saracens players. Skulk Brits, Skulk Berger, absolute class. Both wander over and check he's okay. I'm just glad he's walking off, to be honest.
Can you check it with the doctor as he comes
his own accord.
Touch judge Philip Waters just needs to check whether that's a blood injury or it's permanent. Kevin Harmon, the Wasps team manager, is down there. We're told that it's permanent. So that's the last we will see of the blooded Kiernan Mile today. And here goes Nathan Hughes as the Wasps start the tough process of digging themselves out of their own 22.
It's a terrific battle, the back rows. Nathan Hughes, Schultberger, Billy Vunipola, they kind of got magnetic forces. They can't escape one another's hold. But Wasps have done really well the last 5 minutes to get themselves right back into this game.
That's Hughes on Berger. There's a titanium handoff.
How about that?
Use it!
Schwarzenegger was going up against the other Terminator. It's just magnificent, and this is Mako Vunipola now.
They've got a chance now if they can get the ball out wide left.
Big 60 seconds this before half-time. Skultberger to ground. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 black shirts to the left. Barrett comes back inside just to try and pull in a few more white-shirted defenders. Wigglesworth's going to go back right with Berger. Brits nicely offloaded to Lazowski. He's held up by Goppert, but they're that close to the try line. Equally split now, right and left. They go to the right with Cruz. Try right at the start of this match through Mako Vunipola. Trying to press the right buttons to get them a second before half-time. One last defensive set for Wasps before the break. Brits. Rhodes is there, so is McIntyre, doing his best to hold things up. Cruz. Mako Vunipola. Goffert wasn't far away from ripping that. Billy Vunipola picks up and goes again. Rob Miller was the last line of defence, but it wasn't enough in the end. There was room for Mike Ellery, and Saracens reclaim the lead on the cusp of half-time.
Started with outstanding extra effort work at the breakdown from Mara Itoje, using those long arms and those powerful legs to spring into the air and deflect that box kick from Robson. There it is. Outstanding extra effort. Brilliant carry by Mako Vunipola. Another brilliant carry by Mako Vunipola. And it finished with a bullet pass. So McIntyre did well to stop Vunipola here. He's the initial tackler on the floor, caught the boot. The end pass from Wigglesworth, he knows what he's got to do. You see him grit his teeth and absolutely pump that ball out there. It's a brilliant finish.
It's a brilliant finish, you're absolutely right. Flats, that's the first time Saracens have gone past 5 phases this half. But when they get into the red zone, these guys are absolutely clinical.
Once again, Saracens will have to satisfy themselves with a 5-point score, but it's a score that puts them back ahead at half-time. Josh Bassett's try a few minutes ago had Wasps on level terms, but Mako Vunipola's try at the start and Mike Ellery's try at the end has the champions ahead at half-time. A first half full of intensity. Saracens 13, Wasps 8.
Mark, you don't need me to remind you, but I'm going to do it anyway. This time last season, you endured a bit of a horror show against Wasps here at Allianz Park. How do you ensure that doesn't happen again?
Certainly a good reminder of how dangerous they can be. Probably one of the best teams in the competition. Broken field situations and capitalising on your errors. But we obviously need to play in the right parts of the pitch, but we need to be switched on all the way through the game. So as well as being a huge physical challenge, it's also a mental challenge today.
To execute the game plan you're talking about, you need your generals there. We know that some of your key men are out. Perhaps most crucially, Alex Good isn't playing. Does that change your game plan at all?
Not really, and honestly, we'd like to talk about who's playing and who's not playing, and we're very fortunate that our halfbacks this season, Wiggy, Ben Spencer, Alex Zosky have done such a phenomenal job for us. We've got Sean Maitland, who's a very experienced player himself, playing a fullback today, so no change for us.
When you look at the tactics that you have to employ against Wasps, some things are obvious to look at. They have the most productive attack. You've got the most miserly defence. Is it as simple as that, or is there much, much more to take into account?
I think there's much more from both sides, really, because I think their all-round game is good. Their attack is obviously good, but they've improved defensively. Their set pieces got better and better. Equally, we think we're more than just our defence as well. We've got to get into the right areas today. We've got to minimise our errors, but we've got to come alive when we get attacking opportunities, and hopefully we can do that.
I read with an interest in the programme that the songs that the players have playing when they score their tries. So if you hear "Born in the USA" ringing out around Allianz Park several times, you're thinking Chris Wiles is doing okay for us today.
Yeah, that'll be a good thing.
Good man. Thanks a lot. Cheers, Mark. Thanks.
Thanks, Mark.
Okay. Well, Di, the printing presses have nearly melted with the column inches regaling the problems with England's Brighton beasting. You lost Sam Jones because of that. Are you still able to keep your cool?
Yeah, absolutely. I think obviously first and foremost it was absolutely gutted for Sam. He's worked so hard and played so well, and it's unfortunate. Accidents do happen, but I don't think it's probably the right thing now to vent my frustrations through the media. I think we've got to work together on it. It's not a big brother situation. We're not more important than them, and they're not more important than us. But moving forward, let's review it. Let's look how we can do it better. But the important thing is we need to stick together and obviously work together on moving forward.
That injury has forced your hand. You've had to bring in Ashley Johnson in the back row, first time in a long time. Does that change the way you play today?
Well, hopefully not. I think Ashley's played there long enough, obviously, and within training, he's accustomed to going back there. So, we're hoping it's not going to change us too much. But Sam's been great for us. This guy's been great for us. So, we quality coming in. So, we're hoping it's not going to change us too much.
You had a good turnout against Saracens last season. When you look at the Saracens team today, do you see a team that is possibly a little bit vulnerable? Is it there to be exposed?
Well, I like to think so, but I doubt it very much. I think obviously we had a real good win the last time we come here, but in fairness, they had all the internationals away. Everything went in our favour. Every bounce of the ball, every little decision went our way. And in the semi-final and the last game, to be quite honest, they were far better than us. They beat us in every area. So to me, I'm really excited about this game. I'm hoping they can push us to another level again, and then we'll see how far we've come. Because without a shadow of a doubt, they're the team we're all chasing.
Di, great words. Thanks for speaking to you.
Cheers.
Cheers. Come on.
Gracias.
Wasps change at half-time. We saw Dan Robson limping off start of the break, and he's been replaced by Joe Simpson. And this is how he hurt himself. It's been a lot of box kick clearances, and the last one, affected by Robson, ended his match. So Joe Simpson's with us, no bad replacement, but a little bit earlier than expected use.
Yeah, certainly not. Joe Simpson lively around the breakdown, very quick. We saw Danny Cyprian's X Factor. Well, in his half-up pairing of Joe Simpson, he's there, a deadly duo together.
Joe Launchbury is with us as well. He replaced Kiernan Mile just before the break. Mile taking a nasty bang to the head, and Marcelo Bosch dealing with his first question of the second half. Billy Vunipola just joining us. The back rows have just been immense. Vunipola, Skoltberger, Nathan Hughes firing into each other like tanks. Once again, Wigglesworth with the left-footed box kick taken by Wade. Hit hard by Wiles and co. Brought away again by Hughes. Teammates with Billy Vunipola, of course, in the England squad in Brighton at the start of the week. Launchbury was there. Cipriani wasn't, and he's given that ball away. Or rather, Daly gave the ball away, and Wasps rescued with the penalty, and then the break from Cipriani, and now he'll chase his own kick, and this might work. Cipriani against Lazowski, and Lazowski beats him to it, and he's not prepared to dab down. He wants to bring it away and find Brits.
What a good tussle that was. Brilliant identification of space from Cipriani.
4 off feet.
Getting the ball in the right area essentially has caused that penalty, but Lazowski did well to get back.
4 off feet.
But beautiful from Cipriani once again.
Initially loose from Wasps. Daly flinging that ball out like they've decided to play regardless. Got to keep your head up. Love seeing a foot race like that, though.
Well, this is it here. Inside ball, quick tap from Elliot Daly, finds his mate Cipriani, who sees a load of space at the back of the pitch. But how about that for a foot race? Lazowski, I think the bounce of the ball favours him. Does well to clear it up. But Cipriani, he's really given Wasps the impetus today.
Tom Cruise on his debut picks out Simmons. 11 out of 12, line out wise now for Cruz.
Yeah, okay, one's backwards. They're legal, no.
Mike Rhodes is in there, Fagallo's in there, Simpson, Gopeth. He's being held up by Lazowski, and so is Atoje, and that ball's going to take some ripping back on both sides. And he's held up, and Saracens defensively do a very good job.
More combative this time from Lazowski. That's 2 brilliant pieces of defensive work from him on the bounce. Look at that power. Lifts him off the ground. Marrow clamps on, game over.
Some of it was power, a lot of it was actually just real good, intelligent defending. Lifts him up, turns his back on him, so turning him towards Marrow Itoje and Skoltberger. They latch onto it. What effectively became a very simple turnover, but really good defence.
Telling us this week, by the way, that he's got no interest in playing for Italy. You might have heard that he's got a grandmother, which certainly attracted the interest of the Italian players at Wasps last season, and Conor O'Shea a little bit as well, but he's English. His dad's English, he speaks English, he is English, and he won't be playing for Italy. Should he be picked at any point for Test match rugby, Alex Lazowski. Now, Brad Davis, who this time last season was part of Wasps' coaching team, has picked up a little bit of gossip from the sheds at half-time. What have you been hearing, Brad?
As we were in the first half.
Here we go.
Time on.
Short. Let's get a piggyback. Let's go. Here we go, Martin.
Crouch. Behind. 3.
It's good intel. Easier said than done, I guess, to a certain extent, though, Brad, isn't it? Because we've been talking all match about how suffocating that Saracens defence is. Can you do that a little bit too much in a game like this? Brilliant. Thanks, Brad.
Stay on your front, man. I put him.
Numbers, please.
7.
Simmons lifting Launchbury, but how well did Cruz do to get up? However, it's bounced back into the arms of Cruz. Simpson, McIntyre took it down well and evaded the on-rushing George Cruz.
Fine.
Simpson, a little bit of hesitation before he fed Simmons again. Thomas Young running into Berger. Young learning off George Smith last season with Wasps, playing against another of the great legendary sevens of recent times today. Launchbury.
No 4! All available.
Christian Wade's looking interesting. Here he is. There's nowhere to go, and Rhodes will push him through the letterbox and into touch.
Easy piece of defence in the end for Saracens. That comes from the pressure a few phases ago. That confusion at the breakdown from Simpson caused by Billy Vunapola's line speed, Mako Vunapola's big hits.
Okay, play, quick line out.
Toje not messing around.
And over.
Scott Brits. Wade's underneath it. Wiles is watching him carefully. Berger had to be careful not to be offside, but he was still using his boot to good effect, just to slow things down a little. Cruz into the other hooker, Brits, and Brits strong. Bassett's herring after this. Kick didn't quite work out. Ellery was there, but it was all a little bit of a mess between Ellery and Maitland. Vunapola brings it away and Wigglesworth completes the job. They picked up the pieces that have been knocked off the table there very cleverly.
Loose from Ellery. No need for that basketball offload.
Taken back in. We had the breakdown.
Yes.
Kicked out. Correct. Thank you. Fine.
Defence had backed off. They knew the kick was too long to regain. Just needs to be cooler there, Ellery.
Time up.
Class from Vunapola.
Just hang on. Just be careful the ball's not out.
There's Mark McCall having a word with Ian Peel there. He was part of England's coaching squad not so long ago, on loan from Saracens, but Ian Peel now full-time looking after Saracens forwards and the scrum in particular. Kevin Sorrell to his left as well, the backs and skills coach. Hearing, by the way, that Mark McCall extremely unhappy, as we know, with England scheduling for that Brighton training camp.
Number, please, guys.
The directors of rugby are rather hoping that Eddie Jones will turn up to a meeting that they've got scheduled on Thursday. They've got one or two things that they'd like to get off their chests, I hear. Stan Robson with them, eyes on that left thigh.
Nice and easy for you. Stay here. Stay here.
Cruz again, hoisted to the arms of Simmons. He's got some tape back around his head. Simpson to Cipriani, who's just beginning to pull some strings here. Daly thought better of trying to get the ball away in the tackle. Hughes. This is a good period for Wasps. They're just starting to get a little bit of a toehold, Hugo.
Yeah, that's what happens when you get direct. Elliot Daly taking a ball to the line. Same with Nathan Hughes. Allowing them to get quick ball.
Wade. Fast, dancing feet.
Penalty.
Wasps have the penalty to come. Cipriani knows that, so he'll give that little banana kick out to the left, looking for Bassett, and it very nearly paid off. Gopeth wasn't far away either.
Off the ball on number 3.
So we will come back for the advantage, and Wasps have a kick in front of the posts.
Oh, wow. Love that freebie from Danny Cipriani. Having a penalty in front of the sticks, knocked those over all day long. The ref communicated perfectly. Cipriani sat in the boot. It looks like a slice to the untrained eye, but that was spot on. Banana kick outside the boot. And Mike Ellery, he can't allow this. So it's a tackle off the ball.
And then we'll put time back on.
Obvious one for the ref to give. But then, yeah, beautiful kick from Cipriani out to the left, targeting Mike Ellery.
Time on.
Second time in a minute. And Wasps have a chance to get themselves onto the scoreboard early in the second half.
It's Jimmy Gopeth, captain today. I was under the impression that David Young was going to pick his full-strength first choice 15 at the start of the European matches, which might have led to a decision to be made between Gopeth and Cipriani at 10, but such has been their form together. You may well see both of them on the pitch at the beginning for the trip to Toulouse in a fortnight, the big one. Reward for an encouraging start to the second half from the visitors, and Wasps are back to within 2. Saracens 13, Wasps 11. Marcelo Bosch is after this. Did well to get there first, but into Wasps' arms.
No.
Cipriani.
Advantage over.
Oh, that's a wonderful kick. He's growing into this match, make no mistake. Danny Cipriani.
He really is. I spoke about him before the game, maybe not running as much, and I only think that's because this background has so many quick runners, skillful players. Yeah. He's actually sat there as a general at 10 and just pulling the strings, and today he's done that beautifully well.
Stay here, stay here.
That's a huge kick, isn't it?
Wasps, come on. Thank you.
Brits in a line-out where nobody jumps.
Come round, he tackled it, play on.
Toje was at the front of it.
Tackle now, move, Wasp! Joe, let it go, let it go, let it go! No, this side, because it's a tackle.
Cruz lays it back for Wigglesworth. Ashley Johnson underneath this. He's hit hard by Barrett and co.
Taken in.
Again, Cipriani. And the bounce to Maitland. He's almost beyond Daly. He held on to him just about long enough. Here's Billy Bonapola adding some momentum. Lazowski waits. Beyond Fagallo to Cruz, a little bit intricate, and Simmons can come away with it, and maybe Wasps now with the speedsters. Johnson was looking for support, and by the time it got there were enough black shirts to snuffle it out. Marty Moore, Cipriani, Daly for the first time with a little bit of space. This is Goppert, and here goes Young, and Wade nowhere to go, and he tripped over the prone Sculpt Brits as he cut back inside. Cruz. Simpson, back to Goppeth. Oh, drop goal from Daly. Just underneath the posts. He holds out his hands as if to say, what else was I supposed to do?
I think it's a good option from him, to be fair, and he's shaking his head for a very good reason. He didn't want this ball. What do you want me to do with it? Got absolute cannon of a boot. Not quite long enough on that occasion. But that is the threat which he holds. The Saracens are away now with a quick 22 and Wasps are back into defence.
Billy Bonapola held on to by Joe Launchbury determinedly. Again, Wigglesworth off that left boot. Wade needs to watch it carefully with Wiles not far away.
I tell you what, Wiggy's going to wear through that left boot by the end of the game, isn't he? Need a new pair from he'll ring his agent Monday morning. A lot of kicking going on. Some good defence Wasps the last couple of minutes. Forced a couple of errors from Sarries.
Change at hooker. Sculpt Brits, 35 now, 8th Premiership season, replaced by Jamie George, who's moved beyond 150 games for the club now at the start of this season.
Stay there, please, Saracens.
Back by Launchbury.
More! Must be immediate.
Classy work from Mara Itoje. First of all, there's pressure in the air for Launchbury. Can't quite take it two-handed. Watch Maro now. Doesn't try and get Young to the floor, keeps him up. Keeps him up, holds it up. Ball never hits the floor. All Sarries, classy.
It's good patience. You've seen what's happened so far. Okay.
The Saracens change. Michael Rhodes replaced by that man, Jackson Ray.
unsung hero in that back row. He's an outstanding player. Lots of big names in there, but he's a guy that always chips in, plenty of carry, lots of action. Got 30 minutes to get himself around the park.
Scrum's gone down and we'll reset it. Just a word about those Wasps line-outs, David. That it's looking good percentage-wise. They've only lost one of them so far, but is it getting a little bit easy to read with all of them going to the front?
Yes, and often when an inexperienced hooker comes in, whoever's calling the line out, it won't be the hooker, it will be one of the locks almost invariably. Will call the easiest throws for the hooker. Throwing to the back is infinitely more difficult than throwing to the middle or the front for obvious reasons, but it is easier to defend, and also that front ball isn't the best ball to attack from because the back half of that Sarries line out is free to defend.
Bonapola snatches it up. Lays it back for Wigglesworth.
Off his foot, way on.
Ray's in the sprint position. Off he goes. He's hit by Launchbury.
7 out, 7. Off the ball, you're off your feet.
Cruz, extra muscle, provided by a former Springbok. Wiles.
Penalty advantage.
Penalty's on the way.
Penalty advantage.
Bosch. Stood up the defence a little bit. Brad Barrett trying to thread it through, but back they come for the penalty. And Jamie George, just to show off a little bit, has his own go at the drop goal.
Side entry, and then the prop not rolling away.
Wish I'd got it.
Yeah, I think one.
It was a lovely touch he had down under, wasn't it, in the third test, which set up a try for Owen Farrell. Not quite the same here, but here's the penalty.
6.
Oh, clean and obvious. And this is Jamie George in the pocket. Just been on the pitch about 90 seconds.
We had 4 in at the side as well, Joe.
Here we go. Let's have another look at this. Takes it back. I'm not sure it hit the ground, actually, but we'd have given it to him.
Very casual.
It looks like sorry, you talk about wanting your back row players to push the limits in terms of the laws, live on the edge. That was Ashley Johnson pushing it too far, too clear and obvious. Wasn't held. Got a snap off that ball.
Fiercely contested second half so far, punctuated by a penalty apiece. Saracens 16, Wasps 11.
Hang on, Danny, you're replacing.
Now new front row, Marty Moore's off. Jake Cooper-Woolley on for the former Leinsterman.
Elliot Daly's often their key chaser of kickoffs. There he is out on the right. Danny Cipriano always looks to try and get to him. Elliot Daly's job to put as much pressure as possible. Brilliant chase once again.
Miller did his best to get underneath that. So Saracens have it in the sunshine, and Barrett went backwards, so on we go. Here's Lazowski. Bounce to Ellery. A lot of game time at the moment with Chris Ashton's ban. He won't be back before Christmas. Chris Ashton, the week before Christmas. Save Rawaka, the Fijian, deciding that his long-term future remains for the time being in Fiji, so he won't be coming to the club, and Ellery on Simpson, and the Wasps scrum half was airborne, so that's a penalty.
Yeah, nothing malicious, just really bad play.
Joe,
got to be aware of your surroundings and the players around you. Joe Simpson protects himself by getting up in the air. He doesn't get up all that high, but it doesn't matter. You can't touch a player when his feet are off the ground. That's a big mistake.
Should have been an offensive Wasps line-out. Instead, it's Maitland bringing it forward and putting pressure on Johnson. And now Cipriani has to scuttle back. This kick safely into the pass down.
Time off.
Sean Maitland impresses me, Hugo. We know he's quick, we know he's fleet of foot, but he's a big physical specimen, isn't he, up in the air? As Kyle Eastman comes on. You know what he's going to do? He's going to play.
Well, it's Jimmy Gopper who's actually gone back to full-back. I'm not sure the last time he's played there.
They might have done something similar, actually, against Harlequins last week. They've got so many options now amongst those players. Eastman and Curtly Beale still getting back to full fitness. And here goes Vunipola, the steamroller. Almost right through the middle of that.
Let it go.
Wasps defence.
Black.
Gotthoff now positioned at fullback.
Stay. Thank you. Yeah.
That's the fullback who started the Saracens. Maitland just looks to Wiles.
Keep coming.
Standing start will pressurise Gotthoff. Back to Atoje, brilliantly done. Berger, Lazowski, Barrett, floated ball over the top, and it wasn't far away from Josh Bassett.
No, he's not far away at all there. Nothing intentional as people are booing. He actually does really well to try and get up in defensive line. Lovely from Berger. Great ball from Lazowski. Barrett sees the space. Bassett defends that really well. Tries to get up, put him to get in the eye line.
Black 3 replacement. Graham.
Nothing more than a knock-on for me.
Yeah. Can I see that again, please?
What, the knock-on?
Yeah, please.
Hey, hang on.
I guess we're trying to ascertain whether this looks deliberate or not.
OK, it's coming on now.
Thank you.
Graham Hughes is the TMO today.
The fingers curling back there means I think he wanted to bring that ball in, flick it back, not patting it down. Watch the fingers of his left hand. They curl back. I don't know, benefit the doubt for me.
Yeah. There's no aggressive movement towards that ball going forward or going down.
Yeah.
Yeah, OK. Graham.
Yeah.
One hand.
Yeah.
Ball goes forward. No chance of reclaiming the ball.
I agree.
Penalty only.
Correct.
Thank you. Penalty only. It's a penalty. He's one hand. He's never going to regain it. He's taken the risk. Joe, I'm not going to argue with you. It's a penalty.
As a winger, Hughes, you have to do that, don't you?
Of course. We saw the same yesterday, actually, at Harlequins with Ben Foden.
I've just said to you...
Yeah, I understand, but how can we forward this from first up?
I've said to you, it's one hand.
Yeah.
It's gone forward. It's got no chance of reclaim. Joe, please. No, listen. You've got to listen to me. You can't keep coming back at me.
Regardless of whether we agree or not, a massive 60 seconds in the context of this game now, because we know exactly what to expect from Saracens.
And off the left boot of Wigglesworth. Saracens line out, 20-odd metres out.
I don't agree with that decision, full stop, but it is what it is. Let's see if Wasps get up in the air. They haven't yet on a defensive line out.
Well, Simmons was airborne, and he did enough to confuse things.
It's really interesting, for me at least, Nick. They finally go up and they win the ball. Saracens are used to the Wasps defensive line out, staying down and trying that blitz drive, not competing in the air, gifting Saracens that ball. The first try came without even having to jump. So that almost takes them by surprise. It's good line-out thinking.
Richard, stay 10.
Kenny George has recently joined us, as has Jackson Ray. Petrus Duplessis also on now. He's replaced Juan Fagallo.
Advantage.
He's shuffled the ball back to George, playing the advantage. Lazowski running into Eastman, who is a solid tackler. He doesn't let go, Kyle Eastman.
Number 1. Angle of entry, lifting a leg. Number 1. The loose head. Angle of your entry, then lifting a leg.
The loose head now is Matt Mullen, number 17.
I said to them down there. The number of penalties here concerns me, OK? There has to be a change of behaviour. Just please, no more penalties here. OK. Keep it going.
It's fair to say that Joe Launch is a little bit cheesed off with life at the moment.
15.
I'd say so.
I think that's Mullen on left of the screen. Got his leg, his arm hooked around the back of the opposition leg. Oh. Come on, that's a bit tight. Angle fine, lifting the leg, come on. He's using it to bind on, he's not lifted it off the floor.
It might be, but referees have taken a hammering this weekend for various different reasons. That was really good communication from the ref. Not only is he telling him, he's also touching him and patting him. Whether you agree or not, you've just got to listen to the man in the middle.
Listening's a big part of communicating, Hugo, isn't it?
This is true.
Now it
22,
remains a 5-point advantage.
6 and 4. 6 and 4 replacement.
We've got some Saracens changes. James Gaskell is coming on, and so is Alex Reeder. Ashley Johnson replaced, and also Matt Simmons. Let's have a word with Alex Sanderson. Where are we in this match, Alex? Are you comfortable in the position you're in at the moment?
No, not at all. Not with 5 points up against a team like Wasps. I mean, we saw in that first half 35 minutes of really good pressure and territory, and you switch off for one moment, and Cipriani or Wade or Daly, they make a half break and they capitalise on those half breaks.
And we hear that the Wasps were keen just to up the tempo, just to accelerate it a little bit more in the second half. Are you seeing that from them?
Yeah, you saw that from that first quick tap. And our message to our boys at half-time was just stay alive for 40 minutes, no switch-off moments, because we think if they go through the phases, our defence at the moment is on top of them. But they'll catch you unawares from a turnover, like I say, or a quick tap, and that's when they're really dangerous, lethal, in fact.
We're enjoying the performances of the likes of Big Billy and Sculp. They're all over the place. They're not giving Nathan Hughes any time at all.
Oh, man, he's a target man for them. He's a talisman for them. He gives them momentum. So the likes of him and the big guys up front, when they come on these short lines attacking you 1 and 2 defenders around the rucks, that's where you've got to hit them back, stop the momentum, and then you can push in the wide channel when they go out the back with Cipriani looking to hit Daly in those overs lines.
As always, grateful for your time, Alex. Thank you.
Thanks very much. Cheers.
More 19.
High above his head by George Cruz, and again the stormtroopers gather in behind.
Say more.
Jamie George has it. The conundrum to try and stop this, Flats.
Yes, you've got to look for Wasps' heads, got it inside and underneath. That'll do.
Eastman again with the tackle as Wiles drove it forward, and Wigglesworth does brilliantly to get the ball away to Billy Vunipola, but on that occasion he couldn't hold on to it.
So close, just for that pass sticking, and Saracens creating some serious trouble here. Wigglesworth pokes his nose through, gets his arms free, looking for his mate, Billy Vunipola. Fair play to Joe Simpson, who comes in with a big hit. Bails his team out of a lot of trouble there. Turnover ball.
Jumps on the big fella and hangs on for dear life, doesn't he?
Joe Simpson, testimonial season this season, by the way. He's been around that long. He's got James Haskell hosting his big dinner. That'll be nice and quiet, won't it?
Yeah, it'll be really complimentary and positive, I'm sure.
There's a danger that Haskell might bring out his DJ decks as well, I would have thought. Well, there's a line in the contract saying that he can't, but if you want to go and support Joe, then that big dinner will be well worth going along to. A bit of ice needed for the left wrist of Chris Wiles, which gives us an opportunity to mark the card, both short-term and long-term. Short-term tonight, what are you doing at 11 o'clock? Rewatch all of the highlights from the 6th round of the Aviva Premiership, BT Sport 1, and then next week. We're already getting very excited. We'll be in Scotstoun to kick it all off on Friday night, Champions Cup. The Stade Felix Mail, Saracens starting their defence against Toulon. What a match. Parker Scarlets, Saturday evening for the visit of the Sharks. And then the Chiefs against Clermont to finish it all off on Sunday tea time. First weekend of the opening fortnight of the Champions Cup and the Challenge Cup, which will be featuring here on BT Sport as well this season.
White feet up so he can balance himself. Bring your feet up so you've got some balance, please.
Let's go.
Until we set, I think you need to look after your own
scrum
weight.
for Wasps this. Of course, they don't want to go backwards. They want steady ball for Hughes or Simpson at the back, whoever decides to take it. The big job rests on the shoulders of that man, Jake Cooper-Woolley. Pressure off the bench. Vunipola will put all the pressure through him.
Set.
Tap of the ball on the shoulder of the hooker to let them know that it's coming in, and again Hughes with the getaway job, and now Wade adding to the effort to clear their own 22. It'll be completed by Simpson. That's a big long kick right back to Saracens 22 and Maitland. Wade and Simpson underneath this. It'll be the winger's job to gather. Maitland was there first, trying to hold him up. Atoje has done such a good job doing that.
Immediately from the kick, surrounded, scrum.
Yeah, fair decision. Talking about the threat of Nathan Hughes from the base, but how this but for some defence?
Hey, how about this? This tackle from Lazowski. Nathan Hughes absolutely targets him. Target the little 10. Every 8 caught that. He absolutely whacks him. And Nathan Hughes, just off camera, scrags him and throws him to the floor because he's irritated. The little man's got underneath him. Fantastic defence.
Talked about it earlier. Lazowski sees it as a badge of honour. No matter how big you are, you're going backwards.
Certainly not frightened, certainly not scared. He's played very well today.
Alex Reader, number 20, hanging off that scrum. Hughes once again exploding off it. This is Gaskell. Wasn't expecting to play today, but after all of Tommy Taylor in the warm-up means that he was whistled on. He was the 24th man who made the trip. Here goes Eastman. How Wasps are going to use him with Europe around the corner. They start with a Champions Cup game against Zebre. Might be the time to start him for the first time. We'll see. What will his inclusion at 12 do to the makeup of that backline? So many questions to be answered next week. But before then, we've got a big, big game to decide, and it remains as tight and intense as it's been since the first whistle. Daly clearing long again to Maitland.
Play, off a black foot, play on. Off a black
It's been lost forward, and Gaskell has it, and Bassett with a run for the line. He's got Lazowski holding him up, and then Vunipola finishing the job, but there's still a lot of work to be done defensively. Launchbury into Berger. How quick can this ball come back? Brad Barrett's done well to slow it down. Here goes Reader again.
Thank you, George.
Cooper Woolley once more. And again, one more roll. Reader. Try to draw level. Wade, a lot of work. And there's no way beyond Ray.
Roll, thank you.
Gaskell. Matt Mullen. Cipriani, Reader. Oh, it's been. Oh my goodness! Maro Atoje in broad daylight.
Angle of entry, you.
Well,
entry clear out on the first player arriving.
The penalty goes to Wasps, but you'll forgive us if that's not the first thing we talk about.
Maro, your mate has let you down there. That was some sort of wizardry. How does that even happen? Bassett does really well. Steps hard off his left foot. Slips a bit. How about Billy Vunipola getting back there for the big fella? Great speed. How about this from Maro? I'll take that old chap. Nicked his hip flask. Unbelievable.
That wasn't even a contest.
Well, I won't be the only one blinking. However, more importantly, Wasps' successful penalty. Gopeth again, and they're back within a couple.
They're back. There goes Atoje again. What a piece of skill, especially a few yards out from his own line. Just such a clear thinker under pressure. Perhaps the most impressive thing about him. Wasps have put Sarries under some pressure these last few minutes.
Matt Gallagher has come on for Mike Ellery. First Premiership match at Allianz Park for Gallagher. Debut last weekend at Bristol at Ashton Gate.
Hold.
How tantalisingly is this balanced? It's balanced on the boots of players like Danny Cipriani and Sean Maitland. time being keeps it in hand and does so well. For 100 metres made now, ball in hand for Maitland. Atoje. Lazowski. Mako Bonapola, neatly done. Barrett to Bosch. Wiles is screaming for it. Ray's seen him. Skoltberger, Mako Bonapola. What a response from Saracens. Cruz, a gathering storm. Billy Bonapola. That's a clap of thunder, almost took him over the line. Berger's waiting. Oh, instead it's George. What an important tackle from Launchbury.
Release Wasps!
They're almost within touching distance, though. George goes fishing, and now he goes hunting for the try line, which he has found. That's Saracens, that's what makes them the champions, that's what makes them so hard to beat.
Lovely bit of play here from Mako Bonapola, turns the ball around. This is how they get to the edge. This is how Saracens get over the advantage line. We saw it in the first half. Once they get into the 22, these guys are clinical. Power game. That's Billy Bonapola. Just takes them a metre short. Jamie George, great decision making. Comes close again. And then it's just about patience. Patience allied with power. And a couple of phases later, it's Jamie George once again who manages to smuggle the ball under Joe Launchbury for what could potentially be a decisive try of the game.
Fourth try of the season. He's joined those leading the way at the top of the try scoring at the start of this campaign, David.
4 tries, total distance of 3.2 metres.
Yeah, okay.
A group of 8 players on 4 tries. Shovels it between the posts, Lazowski, and is that now a decisive lead with 10 minutes to go?
It was well finished, but Hugo's right, that was all about power. 3 phases earlier, Maro Itoje, great line off Wigglesworth. Power, Wiles closed down, power over the top of Wade, Bonapola, George. Scary stuff.
Cleared away by Marcelo Bosch. Saracens have 3 tries now. Mako Bonapola, Mike Ellery, Jamie George. Got 10 minutes to gather what would be a bonus point securing 4th as Christian Wade gives way to Frank Halai.
I think people look at this game and they'll watch the first half and say, I mean, the stats were 19 kicks from Saracens, they kicked the ball away too much. But what it does is create pressure, creates territory, and once they get to that territory, they're able to score 3 tries. That's why they're the best team in Europe.
Well, perhaps tiring Tom Cruz. He's been on from the start, the hooker. That line out has been snaffled by Atoje.
Not now, not now. There's the ball. Ball is available. Use it!
And Spencer, new scrum half. And Halai, first job is to gather the ball. The ball, as it was fired out, hits the referee Matthew Carley, who is grateful that it was not 6 inches lower.
Lazy runner, get him off. Lazy runner.
Once again, Maro Itoje, Imperius in the line out. This is Wasp ball, attacking option. No, it ain't. My ball once again. He's so athletic, such a threat right from the start.
We spoke about it before, though, Nick. It's just becoming predictable, those front and middle balls. Sarries can all but leave the guys at the rear of the line out down. Gamble at the front.
You crouch! Fine!
Wasps with 2 new props on, Matt Mullen, Jake Cooper-Woolley, either side of debutant Cruz. Spencer waits, Lazowski, Barrett. Oh, he's gone through Barrett. Saracens in search of a 4th try. Once again, it's Bosch. They have really tightened the screw in this last 10 minutes or so. Barrett again. What an understated but important game Barrett's had today. Spencer once more. Remember him sidestepping his way to the line against Worcester on the opening day. Memory that will last much longer than this season. Brilliant from Ben Spencer then. This time the pass to Mako Vunipola again. Barrett does the simple thing to Maitland, who's been lassoed perhaps a little bit highly there. On we go, Cruz to Atoje. What a hit that was, running into Launchbury. And now Billy Vunipola, and once again the storm gathers above Wasps' posts. Back we come for the penalty, and we might have another look at that high tackle.
11 white, Matthew.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Josh Bassett.
I need to check.
Put on the back of the net, or back of the shirt, pulled him down to ground.
Recommendation? 11.
Philip Waters
11.
suggests that that's the only option the officials have, and Wasps will finish this match a man down.
Yeah, well, that's pressure once again. Double tackle from Simpson. Bassett gets him high, grabs him round that neckline, yanks him to the floor.
Well, he's
not leaving the ref much of an option.
He's got his hands on his shoulders there, and Simpson comes in and takes his feet out from underneath. It doesn't look great. Ultimately, the tackle is too high. I don't think those actions alone would have caused Barrett to do that.
Gents, time's off. Time's off.
But it all starts from set piece. Really good platform once again from the forwards. Brad Barrett doing what he does better than most people, just running straight and running hard. Bust through Cipriani and Eastman, gets his hands free. Chris Wiles there, getting Saracens on the front foot. Once they get into the 22, they come alive. That is big, strong running from the Saracens captain.
No one in front, yeah. No one in front. 7.
He's an inside centre, almost of the old-fashioned variety, isn't it? It's a big debate at the moment about the kind of inside centre you want, but Barrett does what he does, and he does it brilliantly. Saracens with this attacking line-out drive now. Petrus Duplessis is in the middle of it. Jamie George as well, and they're off in search of a 4th try that might turn this into a 5-point win. Statement time for the champions. Wasps came here playing the best rugby in England at the start of the season, but they're going to be beaten for the first time in North London today. Jamie George has another. Wasps have their 4th, and they've pulled away the longer this match has gone on.
Lovely height from Cruz, a great throw from Jamie George. We've seen Wasps have showed us how difficult that is. It's a really nice maul. Wasps have got a lot of bodies on the floor there, but Saracens move it away from the pile-up, recycle it, good energy. Barrett in there too. Great technique.
Yeah, okay.
He's got Jamie George to be the top try scorer in the Aviva Premiership at the end of the season.
I'll tell you what, with the new line-out rules and how well the maul is going for Saracens, always pops up. He's been on the pitch only about 10 minutes, 2 tries.
The 30s, there'll be Wasps supporters looking at that scoreboard saying that's not fair, but Saracens, how hard they've worked for those 30 points.
Wasps may have spoken at half-time about upping the tempo. Saracens in this final quarter have puffed their chests out and muscled up. They physically dominated Wasps.
Simpson, Cipriani, Eastman. Hit by a gale in this second half. Wasps, Cooper Woolley, Jim Hamilton amongst a raft of replacements while that conversion was being taken. Nick Tompkins is on, Tito Lamasateli as well, the prop, and he was asking a little bit too much of Jimmy Gottlieb.
Talk about unforced errors. The pass wasn't great, but the quality of Saracens' line speed and actual wall chase was brilliant. As soon as Gottlieb looks up, ball's at his ankles. Not a lot he could have done with that.
Good height on this side. Yeah. Find spaces.
Won't be part of all this on the pitch until the week before Christmas. Interesting to see him linked with a potential move to Toulon. this week. Israel Dag, another high-quality name that was mentioned in that chat.
Okay, thank you. Second time free.
I'd stay at Sarries, to be honest. I really would. More stable environment. Weather's not as good, mind you. But looking at Chris Ashton, I don't think he's too fond of the sun, is he?
Second time.
Yeah, me and him are kind of like polar opposites, let's face it. Let's not beat around the bush.
Yeah, okay, well. Seven stays along, 7. Stay here, please, Joe. Stay there. Wait.
We're off in search of a fifth. Billy Vunipola, who has refilled that petrol tank several times over the course of the last 80 minutes. Ramos to Taylor, the American.
Over the tackle player. Ball's out, play on.
The ball's been lost. Cruz to Gaskell. Simpson. Ball to the floor by Wiles. Picked up by Thomas Young. Reader. Done a lot of that early season. Abrasive, heavy-hitting back rower. Second season having joined from Rotherham in the Championship. Gaskell and Launchbury. Soft, sympathetic hands to turn that into a workable pass. Cipriani to Halai to Gopperth. Lazowski got in the way. George picks it up. This given some air by Tompkins. Maitland, Wiles, raised behind him. Maitland chasing the kick. Halai's there.
Really good rugby all round. Lovely, lovely kick from Chris Wiles. How intelligent was that?
Well, I don't envy you, Flats, for having to name the man of the match out of all this. There have been several contenders, I would have thought.
I think both fly halves have played really nicely. Lazowski, I think, has had more front foot ball. He's looked really impressive. Cipriani's been mature. Played a really nice game under what I think is a lot of pressure. I've loved watching Stoltberger live again. He's played like an educated savage. He's just relentless. But for me, Billy Vunipola has been the most influential player on this field for the last 79 minutes. He's made mistakes. He missed the tackle on Cipriani. He dropped the ball he shouldn't have dropped 5 yards out from the Wasps line, but I don't care. He's a massive bloke with a massive engine who makes telling contribution after telling contribution. He's just getting better and better and better. He's our Aviva man of the match, Big Billy.
Set.
Saracens haven't given up yet.
Advantage.
They want more. They've got a penalty.
Stepped away at the back.
Brilliant. Jim Hamilton.
16 seconds.
Love that view. Brilliant.
Brilliant.
There's Big Jim. Say they will be looking to replace the now retired Al Hargreaves. Until then, Jim's going to be busy.
On the line, please.
He'll be busy doubtless in the middle of this line-out. May well be the last big moment of the match. It might yet end up in a fifth Saracens try.
It's quite nice to hear Jim Hamilton on microphone and not have to apologise for his language, isn't it? Good on him.
Here we go, Wasps determined to keep it down to 4. Ray rising highest, and again George is in the van here. He might end up with a hat-trick. So tough to defend. Ball has been smuggled back.
Use it.
Cruz forced to pick it up and go and run into Cooper Woolley. Thomas Young's doing his best there to hold things up. Ray! Hit by Cruz, who's worked so hard to go the full distance on his debut as Wasps hooker today. It's going to be a losing debut, however. Bosch over the top, picked up by Reader.
Off the ball.
If Wasps so desire, they can end it here. Daly does not desire. It's on Cipriani's mind. We've seen something brilliant from a similar position at Franklin's Gardens a couple of weeks ago, but not today. That Wasps run has been drawn to a halt. by the double winners. Saracens will head to Toulon to start the defence of their European crown, leading the way at home again. The champions back where they like to be. The champions on top of the Premiership. Final score at Allianz Park. Saracens 30, Wasps 14. What do we say? Let's start with him. He was absolutely immense.
He is immense. He's immense every week. The sort of player you expect is going to get a